So usually muscle cars have massive engines, huge amounts of horsepower, and of course really fat tires to put the power down. But what if we made a muscle car even more dangerous? What if we made a muscle car with the smallest tires possible? Yeah, really, no, I'm talking actual buggy wheels on a car. Now, obviously, I'm not the first person to make this. Whistlindiesel, who this video is inspired by, made this car about 2 years ago. And of course, the car was terrible in pretty much every way possible, which is pretty much where I'm getting the inspiration from. So what we're doing is building basically a Dodge Hellcat, except it's gonna have more power than a Dodge Hellcat, and it's gonna be probably even more dangerous than the real one. What's up guys, Rye here, and welcome back to some automation and BeamNG.drive. This is our muscle car in front of us. So this thing is going to be similar to a Dodge Challenger. It's not going to be an exact replica because that would be boring. It's going to have a monocoque chassis type with AHS steel. The body panels are going to be made out of partial aluminum. It's going to be a front engine rear wheel drive, so front mounted longitudinal. And it's going to have double wishbones up front with solid axle leaves in the rear because nothing says performance like solid axles. Now this is going to be a true American muscle car, except someone's taken off the wheels and put wagon wheels on there instead. So we're making a new engine. We're going to call this thing America. Yeehaw. That's pretty much the most American name possible. It's going to be a 90-degree V8 cast iron, pushrod cast iron. And it's going to be a pretty fat one at that. Let's make it 6.5 liters. A 6.5 liter. It will be a turbocharged V8 as well. Forged, harmonic damper. A pretty high cam profile, decently high springs and lifters, VVT. We'll increase the RPM just a little bit, leave the compression, make it a single turbo. It's going to be direct injection twin configuration with a performance high intake. And we'll go for race headers, we'll go for a cat, and we'll go for no mufflers instead. So right off the bat here, we've got a few suggestions for the engine. I like how it says suggestions, but as if my engine runs at all, because it clearly doesn't. But before we continue with the build, I want to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, BuildBox. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know this. So in 2015, a game called Color Switch was released, and it took the App Store by storm, becoming one of the most popular games. I actually played this game myself. It was a lot of fun, but what I didn't know is it was made using BuildBox. Traditionally, making video games takes a long time, but the developer chose BuildBox because he could turn his idea into a real game in just hours instead of days, weeks, months, or even longer. I actually made a game using BuildBox and it only took a few minutes, which is crazy because before BuildBox, I didn't think that was possible. BuildBox also has a feature called AdBox, which is an all-in-one monetization tool that helps you connect to ad networks to earn even more money from your games. They also have the BuildBox shop, which is another great way to help make money by selling your own created assets to other creators. Getting started with BuildBox is completely free, so make sure to check them out. Link in the description below. Again, huge shout out to BuildBox for sponsoring the video, but now let's get back to the build. So I may have went a little bit overboard with the tweaks on the engine. It now makes 1,000 horsepower and nearly 900 pound-feet of torque. This car is going to be perfectly fine. There's nothing to worry about, guys. It's just a 1,000 horsepower engine with tiny tires. What's the worst that could happen? It's going to be rear-wheel drive with a 6-speed manual, semi-slick tires, and the smallest tires possible. We've got 95 width tires, which are quite small, but we're actually going to go a bit smaller in just a second here. We're going to go for big disc brakes because we'll probably need those to help stop. It's going to be a 2+2 car with a sport interior and a basic heads-up display with maybe like a variable hydraulic power steering, launch control, standard 10 safety. So I also gave it a pretty generic suspension as well. It's just a generic, slightly sporty suspension. The car weighs 4,300 pounds, which is, you know, pretty much the weight of a Dodge Challenger. It gets 11 miles per gallon, which is absolutely hilarious. But since the tires are so small, the game won't let us export it because apparently they now explode, which is perfectly fine. So we do need to actually make them bigger, and I think around 180 or 190 should be around the size. Alright, so the car now has 150mm tires, which are still super tiny, but we're gonna go ahead and make them even smaller. So we go here to trim body, we go to the advanced trim settings, and we can go ahead and actually modify things like the wheel width, the offset, which we're gonna make it very offset. Like I'm talking like. So basically now it's a rubber band on a metal wheel, which is absolutely hilarious. I actually want to go ahead though and make the wheels even bigger. We'll make them like 30, like that, so a little bigger. We'll give it a slightly bigger tire diameter so it has a bit of rubber on them as well, maybe like that. So a 10 bit of rubber. Then we go ahead and we go match rear to front. So now it's the exact same front to back. So I think I'm liking these the most for now, but we might go ahead and change them later. I actually might make the wheels a bit bigger as well. And there's one question I have for you guys though. So some people don't like the time lapses when I actually design the car. Some people do. So this video, what we're gonna do is just jump right ahead to when the build is done, and I'll go over the design after. All right, guys, so this is the bar Hellhog. I'm not sure what brand this is. I just have some bars right there in the hood because it's, you know, it's the bar. And it's called Hellhog because Hellcat was taken, so Hellhog it is. Now, obviously, it does have some similarities to a Dodge Challenger, but of course we have wagon wheels, which is a big difference. And of course, the front end. The front headlights are more of a square rectangle shape versus the circle shape of the actual Dodge. But overall, it is so similar to a Dodge. The back end, I think, looks really, really cool. At least the rear taillights, it's definitely like some sort of more modern version of maybe Dodge's taillights, but just, you know, it's all one piece. The bottom of the rear fascia is definitely taken off the Dodge. But the wagon wheels, they just fit in so well with this thing. And the front headlights look pretty cool with this LED light bar that goes across the front. And I like these rectangular headlight housing with the rectangular headlight beams inside. Overall, I think this thing looks pretty gosh darn cool. If you guys want to download it and test it out, I'll leave a link down below. And I find it absolutely insane that this car can do 410 kilometers an hour, which is about 250 miles an hour. Now, I want to test this in BeamNG.drive. Can we actually hit 250 miles an hour with these wagon wheels? Because that's going to be so terrifying. But we're going to hop into BeamNG. I want to do a drag race. I want to see how good this thing is in a straight line. So obviously, guys, we're here in BeamNG with the Hellhog. This is the West Coast USA drag strip. We're driving a 1,000 horsepower, like super car, basically, with tiny wheels. What's the worst thing that can happen? All right, so no traction control. Turn it on to realistic driving behavior, and just sort of launch it here. We're just gonna floor it. We are just gonna floor this thing. See what happens. that's about what I expected. It's so awful. And a quarter mile in 14 seconds or so, which is pretty terrible. That is a pretty bad quarter mile. We're gonna try one more time, but actually try to like drive it properly and manageably. We're gonna launch it a little lower. No. It just doesn't go. Oh no, the wheels, not the wagon wheels. So basically what I've learned is this thing is horrible in a straight line, but maybe it's better on a track. I also want to take this thing out for a top speed run because I want to see what we can do for a top speed. But let's hop into a track, see how it does. This is the main automation test track with the Hellhog. And I don't think this thing is going to do particularly well, but as long as we can make it through unscathed, that will be a total win in my books, obviously. No traction control because we don't need that where we're going. And just launch it. So we've got less traction here, obviously, because this is not a prep drag surface. It's bad. It is bad. Oh no. No. If this thing was all-wheel drive, it wouldn't be as terrible. But since it's rear-wheel drive, it is so awful. We have like no control at all. We can drift though, not badly. Like this thing could be a drift car actually. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. But you guys see the axle just sort of jump? Oh wow, it's like shaking weirdly now. Okay, we're gonna keep going. It's just hopping back and forth really weirdly. Okay, we're going a little fast now. 150, that's a little bit fast. For a car that can't really turn, we're just gonna sort of... I'm gonna try to just like send it into this corner a little bit, okay? It's okay, we're doing okay. The back axle is just jumping, it's just sliding back and forth, totally fine. I feel like it's almost just totally disconnected at this point, but still have power. It definitely has more grip off-road. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit better. Except in the sand there, that was terrible. On the dirt, it's not bad. This car is just so frustratingly bad. Here, I'm gonna try to stop here from 90 kilometers an hour. We're braking, we're braking, we're braking, we're braking, we're braking, we're braking. Okay, we stalled it. Okay. It's fine, it's fine. Ignore the back axle. It took 50 meters to stop this car from 76 kilometers an hour. 50 meters. It took 150 feet. I feel like that's not good. I feel like that's just not a good time. I actually have no reference for any car stopping times, but I feel like that's not good. It's so... It looks like it's just gliding, honestly. It doesn't even look like the tires are touching the ground, which is pretty insane. but a 5-minute 12-second automation test track time, which has to be my worst time ever. Literally, that's not a good time. It's not good. It's not good. It's just, this car is just not good. So for some reason in the grid map, the tires keep popping whenever I spawn the car. Look, the front tires are just not there. So I think what we're gonna have to do is just absolutely full send it anyways with no front tires. We're just gonna drive on the wheel or on the rim because at this point we might as well just send it. The car is shaking very strangely though. You guys notice that? It's not like the lag or anything, guys. The car is just physically shaking very weirdly. I'm not sure actually why. It's probably because of the front wheels. It's probably the front wheels, no tires. What it is. But it shouldn't be doing that, to be honest. All right, we got to like 150 there. It's not really a great top speed, to be honest. Oh, this is bad. It's hilarious. But for some reason, if I go to any other map, the tires are still perfectly fine. I'm not sure why the grid map causes them to explode. But this is now, again, West Coast USA. This is just a highway stretch. So I want to see what we can do for top speed. Just getting up to the top speed here, I guess. Okay, so far, so good. 150 kilometers an hour, not bad. It's getting a little more stable, though. I know, I don't think so, actually. I take it back, it's not. 260. 270. This is so sketchy. 280. I'm trying so hard to drive this. 280, 290, about 290, 288. Oh my god. Oh my gosh. That was just brutal. So 290 or so kilometers an hour. How much is that in miles? So that's about 180 miles an hour. That's actually pretty good. Finally, of course, the jump arena we have to do. We just have to do the jump arena because we always do the jump arena. We're going to jump the Hellog, see what it does. I'm going to guess it's not going to go very far. Either because we crash or because it can't get very fast very quickly. So we're going to go ahead and just launch it here. And we stalled it somehow. So while we're jumping the car off the jump ramp, I want to give again a huge shout out to BuildBox for being today's sponsor. If you have any interest in making your own games at all, check them out. Link will be down below in the description. It's totally free to get started, so check them out today. Wow, it's actually not bad at all. It's way more stable going downhill. Who would have thought? Probably because of gravity. So 260 kilometers an hour, pretty quick in that. And honestly, pretty far, 350 or so. That's not bad. And we stick the landing? We sort of can. No, we can't. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll see you next time.